Welcome. I hope this mic is on and working. There's nobody on here yet, so I don't know if this mic is working. So we'll see when we get our first, listener to come on. But hope you're doing well. If you're watching this on a rerun or a retake, my name is Jonathan Lewis. I am a psychic medium, and I like to go live once in a while to talk about the work and possibly read somebody in the comment section. There we go. Welcome. Hey Tracy. Hey Nicole. Hey Christine. Hey Jackie. Hey Taco. Oh wait, I gotta turn my light up a little bit. Hold on a second. There we go. Hey, Dito from Maryland. Gabriella. Danielle. Hey, Danielle. Hey, Mama. That's my reaction. To anybody that has like a name like Mama, it's like, hey, Mama. They could be younger than me. I don't even know. Hey, Pam. Hey, D. Lutsky. Not much. What's up, Scooby Doo? Hey, Rach. Okay, first question of the day. Nicole, how has the day been? Well, it's funny you should ask that question. It came and went. I mean, we had daylight savings time, right? So, for some of us who go to bed a little bit late at night, we shouldn't be doing that, but we do. And then it's like you wake up and it's like 1 p.m. Like, what the hell? So I'm glad, Taco. Taco says, you always give me a good excuse to put off paperwork before the next day. You're more than welcome. My pleasure. Yeah, the day went very quick. Very quick. I'm just looking forward to the summertime on the Northeast here where it could be, 9 o'clock at night and still light out. And of course, if my dad was watching right now, he'd say, yeah, because then we could get more work done. Because I mean, it's in the blood. We just, I don't know. You got more daylight, you just keep working, right? I know. I know. It's gonna get here. I do know I will have to replant all my trees. So if anybody's watched my old posts, with all the trees that I planted on the side of the yard there, they're gone. The deer have absolutely destroyed them. There's nothing left. There's like these little pop tops, and there's absolutely nothing from like the ground up, like 4 feet. Nothing. It's crazy. Nicole's in Montana. It stays light out to almost 11 p.m. I am very happy I don't live in Montana when I was a kid. My dad would have had us out there working. It's still light out. Let's go. I remember when I was a kid, my mom used to put us to bed at like, 7 o'clock or something like that, in the summertime. And I never thought about it back then. It wasn't really a big deal. But as I got older, I realized like, it was still light out and we were in bed. And I remember my dad working right in front of the house. He was working in the beds and he was, turning the dirt over or whatever he was doing with the shovel. But I used to get out of my bed and I would watch him work in the yard because there's no way I was going to bed at 7. I don't know what my mom was thinking, but let me get the kids to bed. Like we're not going to bed. It's 7 o'clock. Like we're light. It's like too light out. Oh man. So how are you guys doing? Can you believe this? I'm on exactly 9 o'clock on a Sunday night. Like I said I would. I'm like holding up my end of the bargain here. This is crazy. My mom said yesterday though, like, well, we can't have Sunday dinners anymore. And I'm like, yes, we can. We can absolutely have Sunday dinners. It's not an issue. And if I have to go a little later, I'll just let everybody know. But oh my goodness. Okay, Mama, what's your good news this week? Mama Mandu had good news this week. Don't you know what? Don't say it. Yeah, don't say it. Don't say it. I thought you just wrote it. I'm glad it's a good week. Mm. Thanks, D. Everybody's so afraid of falling asleep around me. D wrote, "When I see when I seen you on, I jumped out of bed and I'm sitting in a straight chair. No falling asleep on you, mister." I do have that sleeping one, in the chamber. I'm gonna be putting that up. Hey, sunshine. Okay, cool. Rach, my ADHD has been really bad, so feeling frustrated with my brain. Recently hard to get stuff done recently. Yeah, that's tough. My oldest daughter has ADHD. Not something people would say it so like, I have ADHD and they technically didn't really have it. They just I don't know, maybe they just need something to do or whatever. But people that really have it, like if you have it, it's brutal. ADHD can be brutal. So I definitely sympathize with you on that. Let's see. So while I'm on here, while we're waiting, we're not waiting really, but while we're talking, don't forget I do have a Zoom group coming up on March 12th. We're down to 3 tickets. I got 3 spots left. So if anybody's interested, it's going to be a 3 hour minimum Zoom group on March 12th. It's a Thursday night from 8 to 11 p.m. And then after 11 p.m., I usually go into like some Q&A, psychic stuff. So if you're interested, go check it out. I was gonna say there's 4 left, and then my guide said, "Check," and I checked, and it was down to 3, so I don't wanna misrepresent. So it's down to 3. Just go to the Stan Store link in my bio, and you can check it out there, okay? There's a lot of people that have ADHD, it's crazy. It really is nuts. There's a lot of people that have it. And then it's like, do you go on the Adderall? Do you not go on the Adderall? Do you take the Adderall for a while, then you kinda get off the Adderall? It's rough. I definitely sympathize. Yeah, a lot of people have it. High anxiety sucks too. Yes, Wildfire, it absolutely does. There's an old saying that I really like. Um, and of course, if you have anxiety, disregard this comment, but it's something that I like to think about once in a while because it's really, really true when you kind of break it down. Is that people that live in the future are usually people that have anxiety, and people that live in the past are usually people that have depression. So it's really, really good to just live in the present. So deal with your daily stuff in a daily moment. And I do live that way. Oh, I just found something to talk about. I do live that way. And it's a mindset. I'm not talking about if you have ADHD or something like that, okay, or anxiety or things like that. But if you are somebody who can experience forms of anxiety and stress and ways of feeling off, right, when things are coming up around you, we always kind of think of the future. We always go like, I got to do this next week. I got to have this done by the next couple days, or that's coming up, and then I have to deal with that, and that creates a lot of stress. Or what's going to happen with this connection down the road, or what's going to happen with this, my job, or it's very, very stressful when we live in the future. So I try to live in the moment, even when I know something's coming up. I always use the dentist as an example because nobody likes to go to the dentist. Like if you have to get a crown done, I had to get a crown done. Well, I got a couple of them, but it was like the anxiety of knowing I had to do that eventually was it's like, "Oh, I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna go there." I've learned in my older years to just forget about it. Like, make the appointment and just put it away. Like, don't even think twice about it. And in the moment, when I get there and we'll have to deal with it, I'll deal with it. So, hey, one above. Yeah, staying present is really a mindset, and it's hard. It's not. It is hard to do. It's hard to do. It's hard to not to go like, oh my god, that's coming up down the road, or I'm gonna have to deal with this in a couple of days, or that person, I'm gonna have to see that person again. So it's hard. But if you kind of stay in the moment, you can kind of deal with what you're dealing with in the moment. Doesn't that make a lot of sense? Oh man, yeah, right. Rach, I always tell myself, do it or you'll have no teeth left. It's really true, and it is easy to say. Yes, you're absolutely right, Wildfire. It's always easy to say. Even when I'm doing readings for people and stuff comes up and I'll see very clearly what they have to do and I'll say, "Well, you just have to do this." And then I'll always follow it up with, I know it sounds hard and it's easy for me to just say it, but it's always much more difficult to put things in motion. And I always tell people when they go for a reading, don't expect things to shift like in the next day or so. These are like long-term effects or long-term information that you need to hear that's going to hopefully help you with tomorrow and the day after that. So you have to be patient around it. Nothing happens overnight. It really doesn't. Hey, my Yorkie life. Hey, bro. Don't get me started with that. Um, I did do a post on it, but I didn't tell you guys, like, nobody knows where that post came from. But I did a post on the word bro because everybody today calls each other bro. And it was kind of a funny post because it was all about, guys calling each other bro who don't even know each other. I see women calling each other bro, and I see parents calling their kids bro. And I just like it blew my mind. Like, what's with the word bro? So I was at the job site and there was the plumber working that day, and I think the electrician was there, but there was also, a couple of the carpenters that were there. Every word out of their mouths, "Bro, bro this, bro that," and, when they addressed me, they said, "What's up, bro?" And I just turned around and I go, "My name's John, like, it's not bro." And I had that moment of realizing that I'm the old guy on the job site now, and I don't like that feeling because I used to be the kid on the job site, up until, like, a week ago. And now I'm realizing, like, "Oh god, I'm getting old and crabby?" So I was like, "My name's not bro, it's John." One of those moments. You like that post? That's cool. Yeah, Mama Mando, just the other day, we were 15. I was just talking to my son about that. Oh, why were we talking about that? Hold on a second. Something came up. We were talking about we went to a restaurant by us, and we haven't gone there in a while. He said, "Hey, dad, do you wanna go to this restaurant?" I said, "Yeah, let's go. Why not?" So it was just me and him, and we went in and we sat down, and I'm like, "When was the last time we were here?" And he's like, "What?" I go, "When was the last time we were here?" We finally figured it out. The last time I was in that particular restaurant was almost 12 years ago. And then we spent the rest of the time trying to figure out how 12 years went by since we've been to that restaurant. It blew my mind. I'm like, where did time go? Where did it go? It just flies by. So let that be a lesson to you. When you have something you can do, do it. Stop waiting. Please stop waiting. Stop pushing things off. Stop waiting. It goes really, really fast. If you're not my age yet, trust me, it goes really, really fast. And then I hear my parents saying the same thing. It's really going fast. I'm like, holy shit, man, everybody's saying it. So trust me, just stop waiting because it's never going to get easier. Jenny, take your own advice, bro. I do. I take my advice every day. I also argue with myself every day, but that's all right. And then the other saying is listen, whatever you do, if it's going to embarrass you or you think you're going to fail and you're going to look bad or whatever it is, nobody's going to give a shit in 20 years from now. Nobody's going to know what happened. So take the chance. What do you got to lose? That's my thinking now. It's like, what do I got to lose? What's the worst thing that can happen? Dort, 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 dort. So, yeah, okay, Sophie Marie. Where'd that go? Oh, I hate saying somebody's name and then oh man, I lost it. That's embarrassing. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Someone said that today, that as kids, a year took forever, but as older adults, a year flies by. Listen, I don't get it, but I used to flip out when somebody would tell me like, "Hey, that's going to take a month," and I would say, "A month? I got to wait a month for that?" Like, yeah, like that's 30 days, maybe 31, but that's a long time, and I would like kind of get impatient around it. So the idea of waiting for a year for something, I couldn't even fathom. And now somebody says to me, listen, that's going to be like a year out. I'm like, all right, no big deal. That'll be here in a flash, not an issue. And it's kind of scary that it feels like that. And I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. But the seasons go quicker, the time goes faster. It's almost like, it's winter, summer, fall, spring, boom, done. It just moves so quick. So again, if there's something you've been wanting to do, or if there's something you've been wanting to take a chance on, if there's something you wanted to like put some energy or effort into, start doing it. Start doing it. Because before you know it, you'll be looking back and you'll be saying, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. And then we both know. Well, all of us know it's too late then, right? There's not an older person I've ever met that didn't say, "Ah, I wish I could have done things a little differently, or I wish I could have handled this differently, or I wish I could have done more." Everybody feels they could have done more. But we get so used to our routines in our life. We get up, we do our thing, and then we kind of like eat dinner, and then we go to bed, and we kind of get up and repeat it again. And it becomes the pattern, it becomes the routine. And once life becomes a routine, it goes really fast because there's nothing that's kind of like marking the moment. There's nothing marking the moment. It's like a big blur. So go on vacations. There's my advice. All right. So what we're gonna do tonight, we're gonna do a little bit of Q&A, and I'm gonna read somebody, okay? Like I always do, because that's what we're gonna do. So da, da, da. And let's see. Did you know it's gonna be 60 degrees in New York on Monday? They're saying 60 degrees. I mean, that's insane. I'm so happy about that. All right, cool. Wants to ask me a couple things. Gabriella Place, do pets stay with us throughout lifetimes? Yes, they do. They stay with us in different forms, different pets. They don't have to be the same pet, obviously, but those energies do repeat lives with us as well. Yes, that actually has been documented. You know what's funny, D? D just asked, "Have you ever read any Tibetan books?" Now, I am a medium, so I read all day long, but I read people. So I read that question as, "Have you ever read any Tibetans?" And I was like, "No, actually, I haven't." But no, I have not read any Tibetan books. Do I like Deadpool? Yes, I do. Solomon 6082. Crazy questions. Let's see. All right, I'm skipping these questions. Hold on. Okay, this is a great one. Sophia Marie, you talked briefly about how to create signs with loved ones. Could you expand on an example of creating a particular sign as an example? Okay, so I'll give you a perfect example. I was one, first of all, sometimes signs will just kind of tap you on the shoulder, meaning like you'll see something and it'll have a feeling to it. I don't think you should just walk around and go like, "Okay, from now on, when I see this, it's gonna be my mom." I'm not saying like that. It's almost like, you get pulled to something. It's almost like invisible, like, you get like when you get pulled to, like, a numbers on a clock? Like, you'll be sitting there, and all of a sudden, you just look at the clock, and it's your birthday, or you look at a clock, and it's your mom's birthday, or something like that, and you go like, "Oh." It's that energy that's behind it, that energy that's behind it that gets you to do that. That's the energy I want you to pay attention to. So, one day, I was driving down the street, like I do every day, and there was a particular decal on the back of this car, and it stood out for me. And I said, "Okay, that's pretty cool. That's a cool symbol," but it didn't have any meaning for me at the time. And throughout the day, I saw the same exact symbol 3 times. And by the 3rd time I saw it, I knew that they were trying to get my attention around something. And I said, "What is that symbol? What could it mean for me? What does it mean for me?" And something had happened with my kids that day. but it was something very positive. You ever wonder, like, I have 4 kids, right? And you ever wonder, like, am I doing things right? Am I handling this the right way? You know, am I gonna have a connection with all 4 of them when they get older? Is one of them gonna go rogue on me? Or, am I gonna have to disconnect from one of them? Or are they gonna marry somebody I don't like? It's that whole, when you're raising them, that's the things that go through your head, right? Because you just wanna have a good connection with all of them. And it was a day where things went really smooth around my kids. Like, I got good news from all of them that day. And then right after I got the good news, I saw the symbol again. And I went, "Oh, okay. That's what that's gonna mean for me from now on. When I see that particular symbol, it's gonna mean that my kids are in a good place. My connection with my children is good." And that's what that symbol has always represented me since then. See, that's got nothing to do with anybody that's passed, but it is a symbol that I've adopted that means I'm in a good spot with my kids. But you can do that with anybody or anything, including people that have passed. So if you want to designate a symbol, you can. Sometimes you can think about, hey, what did my mom really like? Oh, my mom loved wisteria. That's a plant, right? And my mom loves wisteria. Well, how about making wisteria the symbol then? If I see wisteria, that's going to be my mom. If I hear somebody talk about wisteria, that's going to be my mom. So you can pick things that they were fond of or things that they were connected to, and use those as symbolic references for them. Okay. But again, don't pick something that's like super, like, rare that you're never going to see it again. Because that would be stupid. So pick something, and don't, most people pick, some sort of flower. They'll pick feathers. They'll pick type of birds, right? And that happens a lot. That's common, and those are good. There's nothing wrong with those. I just will probably never bring it up in a reading unless they literally force my hand to do it, because I feel like everybody. If I said everybody here, who's got a connection to Blue Jays or Cardinals, everybody's gonna go like, yeah, that's my, that represents this or that represents that. So I don't like to go down that road. I like to get the weird stuff. I like to get the stuff that's a little bit off the wall and still makes a connection and makes sense for you. Okay. I was reading a gentleman last week. Um, in a private, and he was a really cool guy. And I think his dad and his stepdad came through, but he really wanted to hear from his friend. I didn't know that at the time, but his friend had just passed not too long ago, and his dad came through and said polar bear to me. He said, talk about the polar bear. So while I was talking to this guy, I said to him, listen, your dad's coming through and he wants me to talk about the polar bear. And this guy almost went like off the wall. He just flipped out. He just absolutely flipped out on me. And he said, you're not going to believe this. And I said, try me. And he goes, the guy that I wanted to connect with today, my friend that passed, that was what I used to call him. I used to call him the polar bear, because when they roomed together, and I guess it was school or college or wherever they roomed together, he would keep the room so cold that he ended up getting the nickname polar bear. So that's how he came through in the reading. And this guy's father brought him through. So it was a really cool moment. So I'm going to assume that whenever he sees a polar bear or hears the word polar bear, he's going to think of his friend. So you can get a lot of different ways of making connections or links. Okay. I hope that helped. That was a great question. Um, Christine, what's the craziest question ever asked that you honestly answered? I don't, the craziest question would probably, let's see, what would be the craziest question I was ever asked? It's usually about evil spirits or evil energy. Like, have I ever had like an evil energy come through when I'm doing a reading? The answer to that is no. But I will always flip the script and say, I have never had an evil energy come through, but I've definitely had some evil people I've read. People scare me more than spirit, that's for sure. So, little twist on that. Hey, Blue Eyes, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Welcome to Building Connections with Jonathan Lewis. I will eventually get some sort of like kind of intro video that I'll get up on here. I am so bad with this stuff, but I'll get that on there. And if you're on here for the first time, my name is Jonathan Lewis. I am a psychic medium. I've been doing this work for a really long time now, and I like to go live to represent the work, you know, in a very, very grounded, realistic way. I don't like to talk about, woo-hoo stuff or, haunted things or anything like that. I really want to talk about the work itself and the benefits it has for you as an individual who's wants to be more connected to their family on the other side or understand how energy works. So that's what we do here. We answer questions around energy, anything metaphysical, anything that can help you in a positive way. All right. And also, like I say, I'll also try to read somebody toward the end, because I always like to kind of demonstrate the work. And when we're on a chat, it's usually more difficult because it's slow, right? If you're watching this, you know that when we're on the chat, it can be a little slow. My brain's going like this when I'm getting info, and I have to be like, the mom's telling me, and then they'll hopefully get the information and we keep things moving. But mm, what question do you wish we would ask? That's a great one. Jen Ben. What question? I don't know. What question do I wish you would ask? I don't know. I'm kind of open to everything. Uh, okay, Diletsky, how do we not feel fear when you feel or see spirit around us? Um, t- by knowing that it's not negative. Like when you see spirit, it's not negative. When you have energy or people around you or spirits on the other side coming through, they're not negative. But we're fearful of things that we don't understand, and that's really the bottom line. When we don't understand something, we fear it, and when we fear it, we end up creating another type of energy around it. So that energy could be negative. So the negative energy comes from kind of like the way we respond to stuff or how we deal with things. It doesn't really come from out there. It can come from out there, but it really can't get in unless you let it. I did a few posts on this too, because I talked about this on another live. But negative energy is always trying to get in. It's just if we're in the right place, it can't. It's like our shields are up. We're kind of protected. That energy can't get in. It can't do anything. And when I say getting in, it doesn't do anything to us. It just alters our thinking and thought process. We kind of question ourselves. We kind of question what we're doing, and we can't trust the information that we're getting. So that's what the negativity does. It creates doubt. And you've all been there. You all know when you doubt something you're doing and how that turns out, as opposed to when you're confident with it and you're kind of like empowered, right? It's a whole different energy. Nothing's really changing. It's just the way you approach it. But when you're like, I'm not sure about this, it usually goes to shit, right? And that's just how it works. So negativity and fear all kind of connect, and it kind of does its job working on us to get us to feel like low and out of things. So our job's to not let that happen, basically. Okay, so follow up, Diletsky. But our first response would be fear. No. Your first time, did it cause fear? No, I was never afraid of it, ever. I was never afraid of it. I was not afraid of somebody coming through because it's not like the movies where somebody's like standing over you and they touch your shoulder. It's not like that. It's getting symbols and signs and information and feelings and emotions and things like that you can translate and interpret into information that people can understand. So I don't fear spirit. And if I ever feel anybody like in my room, which I have, I'm not gonna lie, I've felt people in my room. I'm like this laying down. I'm like, you know the deal. It's like, get out. I don't allow that. I don't want anybody bothering me when I'm sleeping. So you all have that control. That's the one thing we have in this lifetime is control over that. We have choice. We could choose to allow that stuff to scare us, or we could choose to not be scared of it. If you're not scared of it, then that energy has no power whatsoever over you. It only creates the negative energy when we put energy into the negative. Otherwise, it has no power. It can't do a damn thing. You're safe. I promise. Christine, what advice can you give on trusting intuition? That's a tough one. Trusting your own intuition is very, very hard. It's a very difficult place to get to, right? The best way to trust your intuition is to make sure every other aspect of your life is in balance. If you have a lot of things going on in your life in different areas and it's kind of like a whirlwind in your life, it's very hard to trust your intuition. But if you have your relationships in order, everything's moving good in that direction, great. You have your finances in order, good. Your health's good. You're taking care of yourself, all good place, right? If those things are in balance, then it allows us to be in the right place to deal with that kind of energy or situations when they come up, like trusting our intuition. Okay. We're too busy looking here every day. And when we're too busy doing things like this, it's very hard to go like, oh, well, I should just do that. Boom, that could be the wrong answer. But the more balanced your life is, the easier it is to be able to kind of technically look up energetically and allow the information to come through you, like what you should be doing or not doing. If something doesn't feel right, you go, that doesn't feel right. I'm not going to do it. That's trusting your intuition. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. You'll know, like next time, like, wow, that was off. So what am I doing wrong? What am I not paying attention to? What do I have to see differently? Trial and error is the only way to get better at this. Trial and error is the only way to get better. So don't be afraid to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong. If I had to worry about if I was right or wrong every time I read, oh my God, I wouldn't be able to read. Can you imagine sitting down like for doing like 6 readings that day and like all of a sudden you just get this like fear over you, like, I can't do this. Who am I kidding? It's like imposter syndrome. Forget about it. I would never be able to read ever. So you can't think like that. You can't let those thoughts come in and creep into your head and throw you out of balance. Intuition versus ego. Yeah. But ego's important too. You have to have enough ego to be able to trust what you're doing, right? But you don't want to have too much ego where you're not listening to what's coming through either. It's a tough spot. So there's such a thing as having not enough ego. We always talk about having too much ego, but if you don't have enough ego, you're not going to be able to do things either. So it's got to be, again, balanced. Okay, so Sandy, you say we can't connect with spirit. We don't have any personal connection with. True. But can they come through if they're connected to my house? No. I'm going to say no. Absolutely not. There's such a thing as residual energy. So if somebody lived in that house for a really, really long time and then you moved into it, the their residual energy is around that house. That can happen. But it's not technically them. It's the energy that was there. It's almost like it left an imprint on the house. Okay. But it's not them. I promise you, unless you have a link or a tether with somebody, and people fought me on this when I put this on the post the other day. They're like, "Oh, you connect with people you don't know all the time." I'm like, "No, I don't. I only connect with people that are connected to people I'm reading. I don't walk around going like, "Oh, I have people here." I never, ever once have had anybody bother me in a parking lot. I've never once had anybody tap me on the shoulder in a grocery store. Ever, never once. So anybody that does that or anybody that says that is because they've got their feelers out. They want that to happen. And you can tell those people, you can tell them all the time. So, uh, okay. So somebody, all right. How do you, who is that? Sophie Marie. How do you learn to connect with your guides for the first time or in general? Do you have to be in a positive mindset vibration? Everything you do has to be in a positive mindset. You're never going to be able to do anything if you're in a shitty mood. Low vibration means doors shut. The lower our vibration, the column of light that comes through to help us to make those connections shuts down. So the more you are in a positive kind of place in your life where you're feeling good, that energy opens up bigger. Okay. So there was more to that question. I'm like, I can't remember what it was. I'm so sorry. Hold on a second. Uh, Okay, how do you learn to connect with your guides for the first time or in general? Do you have to be in a positive? Okay, so we talked about the positive part. Okay, so yeah, you have to be in a positive place. If you're miserable or negative, remember that's letting the negative energy in. So when the negative energy is in, we don't want to try to make those connections. We don't want to do that. We want to be in a positive, good place. Okay, and that doesn't mean you have to be super happy. It just means you can't be like wanting to jump off a bridge. It's not that's the energy you don't want. You want to be feeling like, "Oh, my life sucks. This is over. What am I doing here? What am I wasting my time? Let me try to make a connection. That's not going to happen. So being in a good, positive place allows that energy to open up the best and get through. Okay. And when it comes to connecting with our guides, we can do a real quick, let's do a real quick exercise right now. Okay. So for whoever's watching, if you're not driving, what I need you to do real quick is I need you to close your eyes. All right. Just temporarily close your eyes, which means I shouldn't see hearts because you don't know where the button is. But just close your eyes for a second. All right. Just take a couple seconds. If you're in a quiet space, if you're not in a quiet space, it probably won't work. But I need you to close your eyes and I need you to just breathe in, take a deep breath in, and then I want you to release the breath. Okay. Just calm your energy down. Take another breath in. One, two, three, and then release that breath. And I want you to do it one more time. Ready? Breathe in, eyes closed. One, two, three. Breathing in all the blue, the positive symbols, and then blowing out all the red negative symbols. Blow all that energy out. Just get it out. Let's do it one more time. Breathing in. One, two, three. All the blue positive symbols blowing inward, and then release all the negative, red negative symbols out. So that's what I do. I'll breathe in the blue positive signs and then blow out the negative red. Okay. Now, if you should be in a pretty calm spot at this very moment. If you are, then I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you are holding something in your hand, but you don't know what it is. So I want you to imagine you're holding it. All right. And the other hand can be down by your side. And you don't have to put your hand up. Just imagine in your mind, you're looking down at your hand and you're holding it upward, like you're holding something in your hand. And I want you to look down at your hand in your mind's eye. And I want you to see there's strings. And those strings are going upward, but you're not looking up. You're keeping your focus on your hand. You're just seeing a bunch of strings looking upward or going upward. Okay. And now I want you to, in your mind, I want you to look up and there's balloons. How many are there? So, how many balloons? How many balloons are people seeing? Now you can open your eyes. Just give me a number. Three. That's typical. Tracy, Solomon, three. Dilutsky, five. Okay. Cascade Must, four. We got five, three, five, eight, six, five, six, four, five, three, 10, four. Barbara, four. I love this. You know why I love this? Nobody wrote zero. There's always somebody that writes zero. I don't know why, but they can't imagine themselves holding balloons. I don't know what it is. Maybe like you got to, hold those strings a little tighter. But sometimes people like that. I see nothing. But everybody here wrote a number. Now, what that number could represent for you, and again, it's just an exercise, is how many guides you're working with at the moment. There's times when you could have two guides, and there's times when you could have eight or 10, depending on what you're working on and what you're trying to accomplish or raising your vibration in the moment. Okay. So it doesn't mean anything if you saw two or you saw one, you're like, oh my God, I only have one guide, I'm useless. No, it just means in the very moment, there's nothing you're working on that requires more. So there's a lot of people that are doing a lot of different things all at once, or they're in the moment of learning a lesson or maybe moving to the next level energetically. So they will acquire more guides to help with that. And then they'll lose those guides once they accomplish it. So you don't keep your guides all the time. That's why I don't stress about, what are their names or how many, because it really doesn't matter how many there are. And it doesn't matter what their names are. You can name them whatever you want. They don't care. They don't care what you name them. So do whatever you want with that. But just know that we pick up guides and lose guides as we need them, depending on what we're working on. That's all. Okay. What does it mean when you can't imagine? It just means, okay, it just means you're not in a quiet place in your mind's eye. That's all. You can imagine. You just have to get to a real, sometimes it takes people 30 minutes to meditate enough, to relax enough to be able to open that up. And that's the part you want to practice. So forget about connecting with your guides, forget about making, um, intuitive decisions in your life. Just focus on being quiet, like keeping your mind quiet. And again, it's harder. We talked about ADHD before. I know that people that have ADHD have a lot of trouble meditating. It's almost impossible. So there's other ways of doing meditation. Like you could play super loud heavy metal music. I know people that do that. They literally put a headset on, and that's how they meditate. They'll play heavy metal music, and it calms their mind's eye so that they can open up to certain things. So everybody's got their different ways of doing things. It doesn't have to be quiet. It's just got to be focused on keeping your body and your energy in balance. I have a hard time with meditation as well. I use music, but kind of simple music, usually violins or something like that, where I can like kind of help myself to kind of like relax energetically. Solomon, smoke weed, bro. I don't want to see that. That would be. Mm-mm. Beth Den, how would you release anger or negative thoughts? I am an expert at that. Anybody that knows me knows that I do not hold on to anger. I do not hold on to, vindictiveness or, getting even with people. I don't hold on to that stuff. I actually absolutely let it go. The way that you can know this is by knowing that karma actually exists. Karma is a real thing. And we always say like, well, it kind of irks me that that person got away with that, or it really bothers me that that they're treating this person like that and they're not getting like reprimanded for it or whatever the reason might be. I promise you they are. They are. And I hate to say the, in a way like whereas, well, whether it's this life or the next, but the reality is it's really true. They'll get their karma. When somebody's not doing the right thing or they're being not nice to people, that doesn't go unnoticed. They don't get away with that. You really do have to look at this lifetime as a blip on the radar. Okay. And we've existed, all of us, for millennia on the other side. But we take the karma of this lifetime with us. And even though it's a blip on the radar, it does kind of like either tarnish or add to our SPA on the other side, which you've heard me talk about, spiritual point average. So when somebody's not doing the right things, they take that with them, and we'll call it demerits on their soul on the other side. But you know, they have to play that out. And also, if somebody makes you angry or somebody pisses you off, the reality is they didn't do anything. They're just being who they are, right? You allowed that to piss you off. You allowed that to make you angry. So technically, it's your fault, right? How dare he say that? But think about it. I want you to think about it really, really, really think about it. Nothing can piss you off or annoy you or make you angry unless you let it. So if somebody's an ass and they're doing asshole kind of things, and you know that's who they are and that's what they do, that shouldn't annoy you. That should make you say, well, they're an asshole. So if it gets on your nerves or doing something to you on an energetic level, you're allowing that in. So that's how I live my life. That's how I do things. And I hate to say it like this, but we know, you've seen people with Down syndrome, right? They're like the nicest people. They really are. They're just loving. They're awesome. And sometimes they'll say things that are a little straightforward, right? And sometimes, if that was a person without an issue, like say Down syndrome, nobody would take offense to it. But I always tell people, if somebody with Down syndrome walked up to you and cursed you out, would you get offended? And they're like, no. I go, then that's all you have to remember. That's all you have to remember. That's just who that person is. Don't get offended by it. That's who they are. That's who they are in this lifetime. They're never going to change. They're not going to be better. And most people, when they're in that place, when they're not nice and they're bitter and they're nasty, they're not happy. Trust me on that one. They're never happy. And they will leave this world not happy. So let it go. Uh yes, eclectic. Oh my god, I can't say that. Eclectic. Oh my god, eclectic me. The thing is to figure out why it pissed you off and address it. Yes. Like, what is it in you that got you annoyed about that? I see people right all the time get angry about something. I'm like, why are you so pissed off about that? And they're like, well, he talked to me a certain way. I'm like, just because that's who he is. Don't worry about it. That's their problem, not yours. The only way that can affect you is if you let it in. I'm hearing the song "Let It Go" now. Yeah. Uh huh. I hope that answered your question. And again, that's nothing. Hey, happy or helpers. Oh my God, that was not English. Hey, happy or helpers. Uh, what? Yes, constantly battling with not letting things throw me off. LOL. When you feel like you get better, with it, then more things try to challenge you. Yes, always that's the case. You know that when you're off a little bit, I call it the hyenas to the gazelle. So if you ever watched, the old, if you're old enough, you used to watch Mutual of Omaha, and they would be like, the gazelle is running across the safari fields, and the hyenas are in pursuit, right? And then you'd watch this whole show, and the gazelle would be running beautifully and would like literally outrun the hyenas. But all it takes is one hyena to like clip it in the foot, right? And it kind of screws up the gazelle and then like crosses its legs and it flips over and falls all over the place. And then all the hyenas jump on top. It's the same thing. So if you allow something in the day to throw you off balance, you can plan on more of that coming your way. It's almost like, oh, we got one. They fell. They're down. Let's jump in. And then the universe throws more of that on top of you, right? That's how it works. So that's why you want to not let that stuff affect you. Stay as imbalanced as you can around it and stay as objective as you can around things too. As soon as you go subjective, it goes like nuclear. As soon as you go subjective, everything kind of gets all piled up and you don't know what you're doing anymore. It's like it's the whole day is like a mess and it's aggravating. And it just seems to compound. It never gets better. It just compounds. So the trick is not allowing it to do that in the first place. Okay. And it is a mindset. Okay. I'm not saying you're going to get up tomorrow and like, nothing's going to bother me. Everything bothers us. It's just the way it goes. But, uh, so okay, in a private reading, who's this from? Cozy Love. In a private reading, if someone asks you health questions, do you answer or are you able to answer? Yes, I can answer health questions. I do it all the time. Um, the questions I don't like, which I choose not to answer, is if, let's just say, hypothetically, somebody's in a relationship that's not that positive, and one of them is not feeling that well. I've literally had people ask me, like, do you know if, like, can you get any feeling on, like, when they're gonna, like, I'm like, what, kick off? They're like, yeah. I'm like, no. Like, no, I don't get a feeling when they're gonna kick off. Like, what do you want to plan the rest of your life? It's like, it's such a weird question to get from somebody, but I've had that question multiple times from a spouse who wants to know if like another spouse who's like kind of not healthy, like if they can like if I can give them like a timeline of when that person's gonna die. I'm like, no. Even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you because that's not cool, right? So the universe doesn't work like that. Our guides don't work like that either. Yeah, wow, right? But believe it or not, I've had asked that question. I've had that question asked. You're gonna have to excuse my English tonight. It's just not working. Yeah, mama. It is weird. But I've had some really weird stuff asked in especially in psychic readings. Uh, Tracy Austin, do spirits ever have resting stages on the other side? They don't have to rest. We have to rest. We're human. So our bodies require a certain amount of time, sleep, and all that, blah, blah, blah. Energy doesn't need that. Think of it as constant. They don't need rest. It's a good question, though. Um, that's why I don't sleep. Okay, Taco Rocks. Are some spirits not able to come through? Like, do they move on to not being connected? No, they never move on. They're always with us. When they're on the other side, anything that we were connected to in this lifetime will be there on the other side for us. We don't repeat our lives that quickly. But they don't always come through in a reading. Like I always tell people, the worst thing I have happen is if I read like a mom and a dad, and their parents come through and their siblings come through, and then at the very end of the reading, I'll say, I hope this helped, and they'll say, yeah, I just wanted to connect with my son. And it's like it's like a gut punch, like why didn't the son come through? Why didn't they give me something that would have, triggered for the mom? Like, oh, that's my son, right? It gets frustrating sometimes. It is frustrating, but we don't know why things happen, the way they do. We just have to trust that it's the right time or the right reason for things to happen or not. But yeah, that's a rough one. Yeah, I know. There's a few trolls in here. That's all right. And guys, if you're gonna go for a reading and there's somebody very, very in particular that you wanna connect with, try to be open around that. If I can give any advice to somebody, they'll use anything as a way of like triggering, like dangling the carrot. So you go like, yeah, that's it. And then what it does is like when you kind of grab the carrot, it kind of opens up. It pierces the veil of information. So sometimes the reading has to go in a particular direction in order for that to happen. So we might not get anything on somebody's son who's passed, right? And then all of a sudden they give a date and you're like, well, that's when my son passed, or that was my son's birthday. That would trigger like a was kind of lets us know that they're passed. So I would say, all right, you're implying your son's passed? Yes. Okay. Well, now let's see if we can actually get him. I'm not going to say I have your son just because you acknowledge something that, they're not here. That doesn't mean I have them. So I would say, okay, now since you've acknowledged the fact that your son has passed, let's see if we can get information to either validate that or back up the fact that we have the son coming through. So that's why facts are so important when we're doing a reading. You know, when I'm watching around these days with the whole, feelings and emotions thing, your mom's here and she's making me feel happy about this and that, the other thing. I'm like, the facts are so important because it, it confirms that they're coming through because it's linking up with you and it's making sense. And then we know, like, okay, we're not just talking about this person, we have them. So, you know, but I would say if you're ever getting read by somebody and they touch on something that triggers for you, like, oh, that could be connected to that or that person that I want to talk to. Don't say like, I'm not gonna acknowledge that. I'm gonna wait for something a little bigger because that one little thing that you acknowledged could open up to the bigger stuff. And then you look back and go, wow, it's a good thing I said that. It's a good thing I acknowledged that, or else I would have missed the whole thing. There's been plenty of times I've read people where the person they actually wanted to connect with never came through. But the question is, did they not come through? Or did we not acknowledge the thing that we could have used to open that up with? Okay. Um, mm, mm, mm. Uh, all right, here's what we're gonna do. I like the questions tonight. Thank you. They were really good. That was actually fun to do actually. And what I want to do is, like I said, I always want to read somebody. So before I do that, real quick, again, I have a Zoom group coming up on March 12th. There's 3 seats left. If you're interested in that, go check it out. Okay. They're gonna, they usually go before the group is, happening. But there were 3 seats left before I started tonight. So if you are interested, just go to the Stand Store link in my bio, click on that, and then it'll take you right to where you need to go. I also have 4 live events up for September. Okay, so I have my regular reading list that I use for privates, but I do have 4 live events up. Doing one in Long Island, then one in New Jersey, then Pennsylvania, and then Baltimore, Maryland. Okay. So you can go check that out. All the locations are there. You can check it out. If it's near you, then I would love to see you there. Okay. That's not till September. But again, I haven't put out my reading list yet. So that's not till the end of March. I will probably put that out. So until then, if you want to get yourself a ticket for that, I'll see you there. Uh, the hell's an AI receipt? Solomon, do you use AI receipts for readings? No, I don't do anything AI. Ugh. All righty. Let's see. What should we do? Should we do a reading? I think we're going to do a reading. Okay. So here's what I need you to do. If you want to connect with somebody, just write down who you want to connect with, mom, dad, brother, son, whoever. Just to write the connection. That's how I start off these kind of YouTube readings. And we are in the chat. So that means as soon as I pick somebody, I'm going to ask them to write back yes in capital letters. And then I'm going to need everybody else to stop typing. Okay. Once we do that, then I'm going to open up to that person's energy, meaning the person I'm talking to, because I need you to make that link or connection. Okay. So once I do that, we'll allow them to come through, or hopefully they'll allow us to connect with them. It doesn't mean I'm going to get who you asked for, so stay open. Okay. Remember, names are important, dates are important, health issues, incidents around passing, current events, anything they can use to come through with to say hi. But it's about their way of making a link and, letting us know that they're around. And when I do a private reading, this is how I started off. I want to make sure I have the person. So I want to create that link. Once I have a link, I lower my walls. I can get things around personality traits, who they were in life, how they may have done things, a story around the family that they might share. But in this particular case, we want to make the link and the connection. And ultimately, guys, that's why we do mediumship. We want to know that our loved ones are with us. We want to know that they actually do exist on the other side and they're aware of what's happening in our lives. The way that we're going to know that is by them telling us that, by giving us information that you can say yes to. Okay. That's how we do it. All right. So just write who you want to connect with. I got, okay, Diamond Bell 2769 wrote dad. Diamond Bell wrote dad. Okay. So everybody else stop typing for a second. I just need Diamond Bell to write back yes, capital letters, just to signify that we're making a link. Okay. I see Diamond Bell wrote yes in capital letters. All right, Diamond. Okay, so Diamond and other people are typing. If you can stop typing, that'd be great. Just so I can kind of focus on Diamond Bell. Diamond Bell, I do have. Mm, Yeah, this is male. I do have a dad energy. Hold on. So think father, grandfather, uncle. I might not have your dad, so stay really open. But who I have could pull through your dad. Okay. So the first thing I'm feeling is where do I put the construction aspect in the family? Like if this dad energy wants me to talk about somebody being in construction or working with their hands. We're on the chat here, so I'm going to say a couple things so we don't have to go back and forth. But they want me to talk about construction, somebody working in the field of construction or building. Where would I put that around you? And you can be a little, you can explain it. And remember, that could be somebody living or past. It has to be connected to you. So if they're using it as a reference. Once we talk about somebody building or working in construction, no idea. Okay, great. We're off to a good start. Okay. So is anybody currently like working on their house? Is anybody currently like having construction done on their house? He wants me to talk about the construction. I would take an electrician. I would take a plumber. I would take think construction, building, somebody working in the field. Yes, yes, my brother. Okay. Is having work done on his house? I'm assuming that's what you meant. This is the part where we have to wait because we're not talking. Uh, so you said yes, yes, my brother. I'm assuming okay. My brother is getting some rooms added. That's it. They're just showing me a construction worker. And if it's not somebody who did it for a living, then it has to be current for me. That's my rule. So he's showing me that. He's also bringing up the 11th of a month having a meaning. So what would be the 11th of a month for you, Diamond? So that'd be a birthday or an anniversary connected to the family, or somebody passed on the 11th, or just the number 11. He's not telling me number. Should be the only one. Oh yeah, okay. Thanks, Wildfire. Hey, Sarah. I'm just doing a reading for Diamond Bell. We're trying to connect with Dad. Okay, you're writing it down. Okay, good. Yeah, he's telling me 11, like the 11th of a month, or the number 11 has a meaning around the calendar, and he's bringing up. And they want me to talk about somebody having a name around you that's like one letter, like somebody named J, like that's their name, or D, or we call them one letter. That's a tough one. But he's showing me like being somebody being called one letter, or they have like a one letter name, or their name could be technically one letter. So the example would be like J would be Jay, but that's J. It's one letter. So is there a name around you or connected to you that we would call somebody like by one letter? And if somebody's nickname is D, I would take it. If somebody's nickname is like Z, like it's like a one letter name. Okay, writing it down also? All right. No? Okay. He's gotta give me something else. Hold on. Hmm. 29. What would be 29? If he's giving me the 29th of a month, he showed me the number 29 having a meaning. Birthday or an anniversary. And I have to make a link with him or else I can't move forward. So he showed me that number. What would be 29 for you? He showed me 11 again. So please, I know you wrote it down, but he showed me 11 having a meaning, not November, like the month, like the day, the 11th of the month having a meaning. And he showed me 29 having a meaning as well, like a birthday or an anniversary on the 29th, or somebody's currently 29 years old. I could take that too. I forgot about that. If somebody's currently 29, I can take that. Writing it down. Okay, good. Right answers. You got the right answers there. And is somebody looking into getting like a doorbell camera? He's making me feel like there was a recent conversation around a doorbell camera or like a monitoring system around a house. Get some weird stuff. It's like a feeling of like somebody talking about a doorbell camera or yes, okay. And he's bringing up and who's John for you, Diamond? He wants to highlight John. He's telling me my name. I could take Joe because we're typing because J-O male. Prefer John because that's the way it came across. But if it's not John, it would be like a Joe, like connected to either you or dad. Feels like an uncle. And think first name or middle name. It's like John. My grandma's grandfather is John, and I have a friend Joe. Okay, I'm gonna go with the grandma's grandfather. Hold on a second. And who would be the hunter connected to dad too? If you wanted me to talk about somebody being an actual hunter, like somebody had like a deer head in their house. He's talking about somebody having like a deer head hanging on the wall, or my mom's last boyfriend was a hunter. Okay. I like that because dad's bringing up the hunter around him. Okay. So that would be dad's last boyfriend. And I don't know if he's like a big hunter or if he's got like a deer head hanging up in his house or something like that, but dad's kind of making a reference to him. And he's telling me to bring up, is there an Emma connected to you or Emily? He's bringing up a name with like M as the second letter. He's a huge hunter. Okay. That's it. That's just making a reference to mom's boyfriend or, you know, old boyfriend. And he's showing me like an M E M or I M. a name where M is in the second letter. He showed me like a female name like Emily or Amber. It's like a name where the M is the second letter. Emerald, that works. Who's that for you? Who would be Emerald for you? Cousin? Okay, good. And he's also talking about the 3 total pregnancies. So, where would I put the 3 total children too, if Dad wanted to reference the 3 total kids? And I also had an Aunt Emma. That works too. I think I might have Aunt Emma. Hold on a second. But I wanna find out where the 3 kids are first. He's telling me to talk about the 3 total children. So he showed me like somebody with 3 total pregnancies, 3 total children, or the 3 total grandkids. He showed me the 3 total. His kids, there are 3 of us. Okay, perfect. So he's referencing his children. He's saying hello to them. And if I talk about Aunt, the Emma, there's a feeling of like, also like somebody had lung cancer. He showed me lung cancer. It's a, it's not emphysema. It's like somebody having lung cancer. Where would I put the lung cancer also, Diamond? Him? Okay. So that's his way of coming through. He's pointing to his lungs, and I almost felt like I wanted to say like emphysema, and he's like, no, it's like it's here. It's like we this is full on. So he's acknowledging the fact that he had it. And he's telling me to bring up what would be in the Carolinas for you. If he brought up the Carolinas, and I have two things for this just in case there's no connection to the Carolinas, but he wants me to talk about the Carolinas. So like there'll be like North or South Carolina, or just to save time, he's making a reference to Caroline or Carol. But for some reason, lately in the last week or so, it's beginning across as the Carolinas. So they could be like a connection to the family there. I am Carol. No, no, no. Okay. Writing it down. Okay. Just write it down. He showed me like Carolinas. So to me, that would either be like North or South Carolina, connection to the family, or somebody named Caroline. Okay. And did you guys ever have chickens? No. He wants me to talk about somebody having chickens, though. I don't think you had the chickens. He's telling me to talk about somebody having chickens. And Emma? So that's her. Okay. So she's coming in. I needed something. I said it might have her, right? So they're talking about the chickens. So she had the chickens. If she's coming through, she's told me to talk about uh she's funny. She's got like a lung problem also. This feels like COPD or pulmonary issues around the lungs. So think mother, grandmother, aunt, COPD, or pulmonary issues. Like lungs are the problem, but it's not lung cancer like that. This is different. This now feels like the other type where it's like fluid in the lungs, bad lungs. And I have to wait. Okay. Not sure? Okay, remember I'm saying it, but I wanna put it on that side. Is Emma connected to mom's side of the family? This is where I kinda, like, work my way in, but, like, it's so slow with the comments, but is Emma on mom's side of the family? She's on dad's side? Then whoever I have is on mom's side. That's what I can tell you. It's like feeling of like COPD, lungs filling up with fluid, or this could be super really bad pneumonia, but it's definitely on mom's side of the family, mom energy. So mother, grandmother, aunt. Mom's here though, but it's making me feel like mother energy on mom's side. I see the oxygen, like they had to have oxygen, or somebody had an oxygen tank. So think like that. Somebody either had to have an oxygen tank, or they. And there's an Ellen or Elaine also either connected to that side of the family or around the mom. I would take Helen because I don't hear the H sometimes. So think like Helen or Ellen, Elaine, EL female, also connected to the mom side. Erlene, okay. Who's that for you? Right now, I'm just reading Diamond Bell. We have her dad coming through, and we think her aunt, uh, great aunt on mom's side. Okay. Oh, on mom's side. That's it. Okay, that's what I want. It's like an EL female connected to the. Now, do you know if she had the issues around the lungs, meaning like a COPD or congestive, quote unquote? And if you're not sure, you can just write that, but just remember I'm saying it because I feel like it's connected to that side of the family around mom. And just a shout out to you. Not sure. Okay, just write it down. They just show me like that aunt or connect to that side. Issues around either COPD or lungs, but it's not lung cancer, but it's around female. And dad wants me to talk about somebody being deathly afraid of elevators. He's kind of teasing around the elevators. It felt like it was around you, but if it's not, it's directly connected to you. But either there's a story about an elevator one time opening up and there was no elevator, or there's something feeling scary around an elevator, or it could just be the fact that we like do not like elevators. But he's kind of laughing about it. So I don't know if there's a funny story around this where somebody got caught on an elevator or stuck on an elevator, but he's bringing that up. And if you're on here, just welcome. My name is Jonathan Lewis. I am a psychic medium. I am working right now. I'm trying to connect Diamond Bell with her dad, and we're just getting information that he's bringing through to hopefully make that link. And what he just gave me was a reference to an elevator reference. Somebody being like really afraid of elevators. My mom doesn't like heights. Okay, so mom's the one would be afraid of heights. Hold on, elevators. Uh, when you talk to your mom, ask her if there was like some sort of issue around an elevator because he's laughing about it. So I don't know if he like teased her about an elevator, like they got in and he went, oh, like he was teasing the elevator was gonna fall or something like that. But he's making me laugh about it. It's not something scary. It's not bad, but he's teasing about it. So if mom's the one afraid of heights, ask her. I want to see if he can give me something else. And who had the red dog? He showed me a red dog. So I don't know if somebody had like an Irish setter or a rust colored dog. I don't have the breed, but he showed me like a rust colored dog. I know it's slow in the comments. Just waiting for Diamond Bell to respond. Take your time. There's no rush. Uh, we had a mixed breed dog that was a rust colored and was hit by a car, and everyone cried hard. Okay, just know your dad has that dog with him. He's making me feel like it's like rust colored. All right. I couldn't get the breed. I'm sorry, but he was just showing me that dog's there with him, and he's also telling me that he tried to be tough but cried in the shower. We all cry when the dogs pass. I mean, that's a rough thing, especially if it was hit by a car. But just know that's his way of coming through to acknowledge it. Like he's making you feel like he's got that dog with him. Okay. And who works? Somebody worked at a bank too, Diamond. Talking about somebody working at a bank or in like a financial institution. Like they either work, well, I don't want to say like they work in finance, but it feels like bank, something around bank or money, but he's highlighting that around you. So I appreciate you guys being on here tonight. We're just making a connection with Diamond Bell and her dad. It's just so slow with the comments. I'm sorry. He showed me a bank vault. And that usually means for me like either somebody working in a bank or somebody works in finance. Writing it down. A lot of writing down tonight. Okay. Is what it is. I want to put it on mom's side of the family. Somebody put it on the mom's side of the family. Somebody either worked in a bank at some point, or they worked with finance or money, or actual cash. Like I don't. It's not an accountant. It's like something around bank. Somebody worked in a bank, or they work with cash. And were you complaining about a deviated septum, or somebody was having a conversation about a deviated septum? Like they couldn't breathe out of one side of their nose. He's telling me that that was like recent. It's like somebody talking about having an issue around one side of their nose. And if it's something that you were dealing with, that would validate that, or around you. Please make feel like you're aware of either the conversation or the situation where it's like one side is blocked off or we can't breathe as well on the other side of the nose. Diamond Bell, my mom has been struggling to breathe. Okay. Can I ask you though if it's specifically around the sinus area or the upper? Because he's making me feel like it's up in this area. Like it's not her lungs, right? Yes. Happy Women's Day to all the women in the world. Happy Women's Day. You guys deserve more than a day. My God. All the shit that's going on. You guys deserve like a month, like Women's Month. Ridiculous. I'm just waiting for Diamond Bell to respond. Diamond Bell. She is short of breath due to blood clots. I can't take that. I'm sorry. I can't take that. He's making me feel like it's literally an issue around sinus or up in this area. Like somebody having like just talked about it. He's not dropping this one either. It's like somebody just had a conversation about like a deviated septum or they were talking about somebody having a deviated septum, but it's feeling like they can't breathe through their nose. It doesn't feel like lungs. It's not blood clots. Now, if it was blood clots up here, I would take it, but not in the lungs. And he's not dropping this. So, I mean, you have siblings too. So I don't know if somebody around you or them just had a conversation about a deviated septum or not being able to breathe, but he is bringing it up. My son's dad was complaining about his sinuses. That's all it is. That's it. It's just a way of acknowledging him. Is there a Michael connected to that or around him? Just to validate it's like son's dad. He's telling me there's a Michael connected to you as well. First name or middle name around Mike. Mhm, mhm. That's okay. Don't worry about Charlene. But I appreciate that. My son's dad's friend is Michael. That's it. Okay. So it's dad's way of acknowledging like son's father, not necessarily saying hello to him, but acknowledging him and letting him know that he's the one that was dealing, complaining. That's why I said that somebody's complaining about their sinuses. And he talked about Michael, which is son's dad's best friend, right? Okay. So just know that's dad's way of coming through to say hi. I'm sorry it's so slow. I know you were probably typing fine and it just took a while to come on. I don't know why it's taking so long, but I hope this helped a little bit. But just know dad's okay. All right. He is making me feel, just so you know, he's working around mom. He's definitely working around mom. And to validate that too, I have to do this. Diamond Bell, who had like a um it feels like a chihuahua. So he wants to reference a chihuahua, like somebody having a chihuahua or a rat terrier. I forgot this mic is very sensitive. I'm like burping under my breath, and like this mic picks it up, so I have to be careful. And okay, Daniel, my mom had a Chihuahua Terrier mix. Okay, as long as I'm gonna do this right this time. As long as it's got Chihuahua in it, it's all good. Thank God it's not a Cocker Spaniel mix because we don't want to deal with that again, right? So just know he's using the Chihuahua to back up the fact that he's working around mom because technically it could have just said that, right? So he's making me feel like he's working around mom, and he's using the Chihuahua to back that up. And um, and there's something about you there's something about you wanting to go either back to school. Hold on. I don't know if it's a sister for you, but it's female on your level. So it's either sister, sister-in-law, or yourself. They show me like currently having discussions or talks about higher education or going back to school for something. And just to save time, if that's happening, he's making me feel thumbs up around it. So whoever's talking about doing this, like wants to do further education or they want to go back to school for something and feeling like, or they have to take a course for something. I'm not sure for work, but he's making me feel like going back to school, but it's not a kid going back to school. It's somebody older. And he's making me feel thumbs up around that. And it does feel like female, like I said, on your level, which would either be you, sister, sister-in-law, cousin, but happening right now. And if you're on here, welcome. I appreciate you being here tonight. I'm just doing a okay, Diamond Bell. Graduate in May with my master's and was discussing PhD programs or medical school with my bestie. Thumbs up coming from dad. Okay. Just know that's his way of coming through to say hello. Cause he said, if, when you validated that, like I'm supposed to give you a thumbs up on that. So that's definitely a go. Okay. Like go, go, go. He's showing me that. All right. All right, Diamond Bell. I hope this helped a little bit. I'm going to pull back a little bit, disconnect with you and dad. All right, guys. And again, just know that I have a Zoom group coming up on Thursday, March 12th, 8 p.m. If you're interested in that, go click on the Stand Store link in my bio, and you can go check it out there. Okay. But when I got on tonight, there was 3 seats left. So I don't know how many are left now, but go check that out. And I wish they would speed up the comments somehow. I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna try to figure out if there's a way to pull people up live on here. I just, it's so. Oh, you're more than welcome, Diamond. You're more than welcome, and thank you for your patience too. Anything that didn't make sense, just go check that out or pay attention to what's coming up around you because usually those things will pop up. Okay, I get enough feedback from people afterwards. It's funny when I go to do a reading for somebody, and have I read you before? Yeah. Can I tell you what happened last time? I'm like, no, you cannot tell me what happened last time. I have to do the reading first. If you want to tell me afterwards, you can. But there's a lot of follow up on like, I thought this, I thought that, but then I found out it was this. So again, sometimes things come in for a reason, and hopefully it's something that you can figure out later. Okay. Very cool. All right, guys. I'm going to say goodnight for tonight. I hope this helped a little bit. It was fun. I appreciate the information and the questions. And I will see you guys again on Sunday night next week. Okay. All right, everybody. Take care.